Welcome to the Conscious Marketer podcast. I'm Richard here and joined by Kylie. Hi, Kylie.
Hey.
And we have a fantastic guest for you today, Shamina Taylor. She is an attorney and wealth expert and mentor. Shamina helps high-achieving women level up their personal lives and their businesses by teaching them how to become powerful, fulfilled, wealthy, in a successful version of themselves. And she's also the creator of the Quantum Woman, and she has a Facebook group and a whole brand around the Quantum Woman. And we are so excited to be talking to Shamina today. Hi, Shamina.
Hi, Richard. Hi, Kylie. So happy to be here today.
Hey. We're so happy to
We
have you.
Yeah, and we normally kind of start by kind of asking what your journey is. And I know you started as an attorney, but then that morphed into kind of wealth expert and spiritual teacher.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of an interesting journey. Can you maybe share a little bit about what that looked like?
Well, so it is very interesting. If you think about it, I was this attorney, very successful, who didn't even know she had a soul, which is kind of crazy, right? And I had a moment where I was on a yoga mat. A lot of things happen on a yoga mat. I'd only done yoga about 3 times, and I was searching for something. Like something in me was calling something. I knew something was coming to me and calling to me. I'd been in bodybuilding for a while, and then I ended up on this yoga mat because a yogi of mine, a friend, came into my life. She was getting filmed on TV for a segment, and I remember walking to the studio and I said to this TV guy, I'm like, "Hey, make sure you don't span on me too much because I don't really know yoga very much." But really, what I was saying to him is, "Hey, make sure you like check out this Lululemon outfit that I'm wearing because I want you to put me on TV." Well, about 15 minutes into this class, I had my phone out because everybody takes their phone to yoga, right? No. And I was so frustrated because she had us going up and down like it was this some kind of P90X yoga. And I felt like she was showing off. I was getting actually angry in yoga, not relaxed and all zen and what you're supposed to do in yoga. But in that moment, she made us go into like this move, which was just excruciating. And I remember putting one hip to one side and the other, and I was just like this physical pain that came over me was so intense. But I'm a bodybuilder, and I was so in my masculine energy. I'm like, I'm gonna push through this. I'm gonna make this work. And as I was doing this like pain came into my hips, a physical pain. But then as I pushed even more and more, all of a sudden, like the pain turned to emotional pain, and this like floodgate of emotions just washed over me. As this was happening, she was saying, "Are you living your best life? Are you living a life of fulfillment? Are you living Groundhog Day?" And in that moment, I was like, "Who is Shamina?" Like I'd gotten all the success. I was an attorney, successful, the kids, the perfect life. Like if you looked it up and, online, I checked all the boxes. But in that moment, everything that wasn't perfect about my life was coming through, and I was questioning who I was, and I was questioning my own existence. I was questioning how happy I really was. And I just started bawling and crying. And I didn't get out of that pose, which later I found out was the frog pose. And everybody kept rubbing my back, coming up to me. And I got up, I had like snot everywhere. And I wore such a cute Lululemon outfit, I couldn't like really wipe my nose. But as I got up, I knew my life had to change. And after that moment, I believe that was like the first awakening where spirit came to me and said, "Hey, it's time to wake up. It's time. It's time. There's something else that you need to do in this lifetime." And I went home, talked to my husband, and a couple of days later, we decided to go to a therapist. A month later, he moved out. And then I began my journey of this awakening. And spirit came to me and literally led me. And this is a woman who didn't believe in science, didn't understand. And now I was awakening through all these different movements. I remember going to a psychic and she said, "You got to get your third eye open." And I'm like, "What the hell's a third eye? I got to open that bitch up." I'm like, I got to open that up. And that is how I've been on this journey for the last 9 years. And I've just been letting spirit lead me and allowing my consciousness to expand and doing the deep work. So that's how I became from the lawyer to a spiritual teacher and learning about wealth along the lines.
It's so incredible to me how you've been in this industry for a couple of years and you've had the fastest results or among the fastest results that I've ever seen. Can you share a little bit about that? Like, how have you done it?
So I think, honestly, well, I feel that the work that I did on the back end of like really finding out where my blocks are, finding what my belief systems are, what was keeping me stuck from believing that there was a calling coming to me. Like when I first started waking, I'm like, you're here to do something different. Like you're here for something big. I didn't know what it was, but I just kept listening in. I kept believing and trusting. And the more that I listened to myself, my higher self, the the signs, I started creating a muscle within myself of trusting the guidance. And so I would do the work, like whatever block would come up or a belief, and then I would see something clear for me. I'm like, oh, look, an opportunity just showed up for you. Like all you have to do is get out of your own way. So throughout that time period, I taught myself tools. Like I went to every different healing modality. I mean, we all have been through this stuff, right? And I just started creating my own methodology of like, okay, a thought came up, and emotions with it. And I did have a lot of childhood trauma and wounds, so I had to really learn how to calm my nervous system. So I literally had to work out a system in myself of like, oh, hey, you're gonna take a big leap. Okay, your nervous system will get activated. What do you need to do to believe, and how do you calm your system to take the action? And so I created a system for myself that I actually help others with, not necessarily the exact way, but what's, subjective for them. But in order to believe yourself, you got to be able to leap, think you're going to fly, and just keep doing it over and over again. And I just learned how to walk with fear. Um, it's kind of been, I don't eliminate it. It's just kind of been my partner in crime almost, or a partner in success, because I know when I'm super uncomfortable, I'm on the edge of something pretty great. So I take action. I take action in spite of the fear. I take action even when I don't know. I take so much messy action. I don't even know if stuff's going to work, but I won't know until I try. Like I can sit there all day and formulate in my mind and plan all day, but until I go to put something into work, I don't know what actually will work. So I believe, I believe those are, and trust. I've learned to trust myself and trust the guidance and know that it's always happening. Like whatever I want, I get, and it's always going to work out. I just have to be resilient at it and hire great mentors. I trust other people who've been where I've been. And I know that if there's something that I don't know, I go ask for help, which I never did before. I don't know everything. And I know that other people have walked where I want to walk. So I hire people who have done something that can hold space for me to expand and believe in me, like you guys have.
Now I know you've had a lot of success, and you work with a lot of high achieving female entrepreneurs, but still it's like they hit a barrier of some kind. What are some of the like barriers that you see come up over and over again that especially for women, that they hit and they can't get through?
So a belief of a limitation, like they live in, I'm only going to do this much, or I'm only going to go this far in order to keep themselves safe in where they're at. So, so I'll see this come up. Well, they don't want to be disappointed. So they try to create something that's attainable and achievable, which many of them do. But what that does is it brings them only to here. So I try to create a mindset or a belief system like wealth is limitless, success is limitless, everything's limitless. I mean, you can have more. There's always more coming. That's one of the taglines I say in my business and that women talk about, like more is always coming. And if you can believe that more is always coming, then you've expanded what's right in front of you. So the biggest limitation is that they think that there's only this much. They think that they have to work super hard to achieve what they want. Or I'm of the belief system, hard does not equate success, hard does not equate money. But most of our childhood, that we've grown up with, you better work hard. Money doesn't come easy. Money doesn't grow in trees. And like those conditionings are implanted in them. So I try to rewire their belief systems on what's possible because these women know how to make money. They will work like I did as an attorney. They'll go, they'll do what's necessary, they'll show up, they'll work, 20 hours, I mean, 10 hours a day, they'll work, 60 hours a week. um, they'll work nonstop to achieve their goals, but I'm showing them there's another way, there's an easier way. And this is like them being in that masculine energy, which is kind of wounded, which is I have to prove myself. I'm a perfectionist. It's never enough. Like they never celebrate their wins. It's always like, what's next? And being in that busy energy, they never get to anchor in the success and celebration of how far they've come, which I believe starts signaling, oh, this feels really good. I want more of this. Because if you're always in the lack, it's never enough, then success is always going to be over there. And that ridiculous money, ridiculous success, or how Kylie had said, how did you do this so fast? It's like, okay, there's so much more. She won't access it. So those are some big things. And just a connection to the heart center. I feel like that's closed off because a lot of them are warrior women. They've been through a lot. I myself relate to this. And when we can shut down our heart, we can move faster in our logical minds. But really, the key to like the massive success or the quantum field, the quantum woman, is your emotional state. So I teach them about mastering their emotions. And we're forever mastering our emotions. But if she can learn to master emotions, she can learn to open her heart and she can learn to access that feminine energy, which is to me what has helped me create such a successful business and life so far. Not easy, but something that once you tap into it, it's amazing.
I love that. And, one of the things that I admire about you so much, besides everything that you just said, which is very admirable and beautiful, and I just want to acknowledge that. One of the things I love about you is how you just crush it with challenges. You're one of the best people I've ever seen with challenges. And again, you just came into this industry and you're literally the best person I know. I've been in this industry 10 years. I don't know anyone who's doing challenges like you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started to achieve success with that particular way of doing business and marketing?
Okay, so again, messy action. I don't know what I'm doing. And well, I didn't. And everybody says, yeah, you do know what you're doing. But let me just tell you what happened. So last year, well, maybe it was the year before that, I teach about manifesting. And so I decided to do a 5-day series on manifesting. I did all kinds of things. I did a couple lives on my business page, I did something on a group, and I thought it was good to grow my audience in different places. It wasn't the best method. So then I decided there's got to be a different way. Like I told you, take messy action. Then June of last year, I'm going to launch a new program that I actually created while I was working with you guys. And it was a 5-day masterclass, and it was the biggest party on the internet. I couldn't believe how successful this was. And I tell you, I decided on a Thursday to do this 5-day masterclass. I had 300 and something people sign up for it on Monday. That is 4 days. But being able to like organically do this without ads, it was incredible. And in that masterclass, I did a challenge because I call it Challenge Masterclass. In that challenge, I asked people to perform certain things, and they all did it. They were so involved, and it was like I was throwing like the biggest party for gaining people into my space. And so of those 300 people were in there, I ended up having a $301,000 month. That week was 280 something thousand dollars I made in that challenge. I assigned 5 private clients. I had almost a $50,000 cash day on the Friday. And it was just one of those things that I figured out what works. I figured out how to connect to people. And sometimes the people that didn't join in that 5 day, they ended up joining on the next month or the month after that. So then I said to myself, I'm actually onto something because I didn't have crazy marketing emails going out. I didn't have anything like that. All I did was promote, and I brought a certain energy to this 5 day. I treated people in a way that I wanted to be treated. I gave great information. I taught real information. Like after that 5 days, I was like, okay, that was a real program that you just taught there. And I didn't care because it was like the information was going out and who wanted to obtain it and do something about it. Great. If they wanted to come work with me, great. But I think part of the things with challenges that people are doing is they're trying to trick the client, or they're trying to trick the people that are coming into their space. I don't want to give them too much information, or I want them just to bait them in here. I knew exactly who I was speaking to. I knew what my message was. I knew exactly how I was going to help them, how I was going to fill the gap for them. And I think and I knew who I wanted to work with. And I think taking that and creating a challenge and having a structure every day, but it was fun. I did it in a Facebook group. I went live, and I interacted with people, and people want to be seen and heard. Like, it's not just about you and what you have to offer. People crave connection. And I feel like one of the things that, even if they didn't buy from me, I gave my gift out into the world and I created so many connections from people from a heart center place. And I feel like that's like the juice that's missing from some of the people that are selling to others. Like, it wasn't a selling situation. It was like, come join my party. Come hear what I have to say. Like, thank you for coming. And here's my gift back to you for coming. So I could talk all day about challenges, but I feel like there's something missing, and I'm teaching it now in my mastermind. And the women that are in there, they've taken other people who have taught challenges and are like, Shamina, this is what I'm missing. I was trying to have so much structure, and I'm like, structure is great, but you've got to talk from your heart. You've got to connect to people. That's how they know, like, and trust you, right?
Can you talk about how conviction plays a part when you go online and how that's important? Because when I hear you speak, I hear so much passion, and I think that conviction is a really powerful feeling presence, and I think that's why people are attracted to you, because they know that you're telling the truth. They know that you get results, and they know that the people that work with you get results. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. You know, I remember when that word started coming to me, and I'm like, you have to have conviction. Like, I actively worked on this because to me, conviction means believing in what you're doing. Like, believing that you can actually help somebody else in your work, and knowing that I feel that I do this work daily. We all, most of us that are in this self-development world, do some level of work daily. And I believe that, like, one time, I think it was you said to me, you're so close, you've got to become that woman. And I kept saying to myself, I know what I believe in. I know what I'm good at. But there was a clicking point of what conviction meant for me. Like, as soon as you really know, it's because you've embodied it. You've integrated it and implemented what you teach so that you yourself are like the test. Like, I know if I walk this, as this is going to happen. And when you know that, then you can lead others in that same path. And so, not necessarily it's always the case because not everybody will be able to come in and walk the same steps, but there's going to be a woman that's just has the same similar, you know, things that I've gone through. She's going to walk that path and I can lead her. So when I know that it works, it starts breeding this belief system in me, like, I got it. I've got a secret formula for you. I've got the cure. I've got this thing that you absolutely need to get to that next level or desire or whatever it is. And I know that I can help you. Not everybody, takes that medicine the same way, but the right person for me will. And I think I start believing in the core of who I am and I show up in that energy. Because if I don't believe in the stuff that I teach, that means I haven't integrated it and I haven't brought it to the surface to share with the world. Because a lot of this stuff that we work with is not tangible. It's here. Let me give you a wisdom. Here, let me give you part of what I've gone through and deliver it in a way that you can take it, digest it, integrate it, implement it, and then take action in your life. So I think on a repeated basis, I remind myself of what I'm great at. And I think people are so afraid to claim that because, oh, well, I want to be humble. I hate the word humble. I don't even like the word hate, but I despise humble. I said, if you cannot claim that you're an expert in something, why am I going to hire you? If you can't tell me that you're going to help provide a result for me, why am I going to give you my money? Why am I going to invest in you if you yourself don't believe in the work that you do? I had to believe for my own self and show up. And as soon as that conviction came in, like, high ticket offers came in. Like, I put like 40 something women in one of my high level masterminds and made $800,000 in less than, in 2 months, or whatever it is. Once you have conviction and you know what you can do and deliver, it is a game changer. It is the game changer. in your business, because not every person that comes to you is an ideal client, but the right ones that come to you, you're going to make magic with them.
When you talk about the right ones that come, I heard you say earlier that you know who you're speaking to, and that's a big part of it. And I know that's something you've worked on over the past year to hone that, to continue to speak to higher and higher level women who are really ready to do the work. Will you tell us about how you've been able to, make that leap from not really knowing who that avatar is to being so dialed that you made $800,000 in a few months?
So everyday work. Like, I mean, it's so this is how I looked at it, and this is my perspective and my experience. The year ago, Shamina, the type of people that came into my mastermind was at the level where I was at with my growth, and where I saw my gifts, and where I was with what I could provide for them. And as I grew and I started like integrating and embodying the growth, I became a woman who could lead the other women. Like, I believe that as I was changing, my avatar was changing. And part of that was actually really upsetting, as you guys know, because I felt like I was leaving certain women behind because I couldn't help every woman come with me. But that, I believe, stunts some of our growth as, marketers, online, businesses, and how we do things online, is because we want to help and save everybody. But if you're going to progress and grow, you have to lead your own self in that dynamic. And as you lead yourself, you're going to it's like I don't know why I keep seeing like the evolution of man, but it's like as you're like leading yourself, like from this, infant style state of in your industry, you're talking to a certain person because you've had some sort of like success where you are. But as you gain more success and you get more experience and more conviction, you're moving along this scale. And as you're standing up more and more and more and more, you're getting to a place of, oh, I can lead these people. And then you start speaking to their power, in my opinion, more so than just the pain, because you're going to lead this woman to a place that you've gone. At least for me, I'm talking about women. So I can lead a woman to where I've gone. I made $1 million of cash in less than a year. It took a while for me to sit into like, oh, I could possibly be an expert at that. And then once I understood, like I figured out something that others haven't. Oh, now I can lead somebody who desires that. And as I'm looking through this process, I think about how she's thinking. And it's not a bad thing that I'm not serving those women. Those women are there on their journey still. And they're going to either move along and progress to where I have, or they won't. But there's nothing wrong with their level of success, right? It's just how fast they move. And that's where the quantum leaping comes in for me, and where the quantum woman comes in. Because the quantum woman, in my opinion, how I'm speaking to her, she wants the success. She wants to do the work. She's ready for it. She's not afraid of what would come up. They sell these women that are in my space now. Like, Shamina, just give it to me. Give me the truth. Like, they always call me their no bullshit mentor. They're like, just tell me what I need to think, or tell me where I'm stuck. Tell me what's next, and help me along this process. Maybe the women that I worked with in the beginning, they weren't ready for that type of mentorship. Not wrong, nothing wrong with them. They just weren't ready yet. And so as I'm progressing, I'm realizing there's women that are higher achievers. They're ready to move. And so the system of what I did was I speak to her. I speak to her. I see where she is in her journey. And I see, and sometimes we forget where we've come from, and we forget that people have to go through their own process. So I look back to see where I went and how I can walk her through my steps. And I speak to her, and I do speak to what she desires. I speak to where she's at in her pain. I give her a name, and I know a lot of people don't say to do that with avatars, but I come up with what she struggles with. I come up with how I can help her through the process. And every single woman that's in my mastermind now or in my space, they're like, you spoke directly to me, because I know her like she's my best friend, because she was. She was me. on so many different levels. So as I'm progressing, my avatar's changing, but it's like that Russian little doll. It's like there's different versions of me moving along. So you have to do that work every day. You have to know who you're speaking to. I told you, Kylie, it was like a cuckoo. I was like going like a cuckoo clock. I'm like, wow, it's changing all the time. Like you think it'd be so easy. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this over and over and over again? It's because you're dialing it in. And when you dial it in and you have conviction, that equals like success, conversion. People are coming to you.
Yeah, I remember it was really frustrating for you, and it's obviously been really worth the work and the frustration.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's something that I teach women, don't miss that part. And learning from marketers like you guys, like that, don't miss that part. That's like essential. You have to know who you're speaking to. And in picking women and not men and doing, and really going deep into my quantum woman, that really helped me really bring the women into my space. Like when people come to me, say, I speak to everybody. I'm like, well, you speak to everybody. Nobody listens. You've got to speak to the right person and then they're going to listen.
What's the vision for your own brand and how you want to help the world and serve the world in the future?
Well, the vision changes as I grow. I'm not going to lie, but it just keeps bigger and getting bigger and bigger. I say this all the time. I'd love my own TV show. I'd love to reach millions of people and help them where I was this soulless lawyer at a time, just moving through life with not having a lot of fulfillment in the same way. I want people to know the richness of how they live, to know that they can master their emotions. They don't need to numb them out like I did, that they can live a fruitful life. It is my greatest desire to reach women and people around the world to know that they have the power within them to change their current state. Like you get to create whatever reality you want, and I believe you get to have it all. I believe if there's one part of your life that's not congruent for you, you get to go change it. You get to decide it's not over. It doesn't matter till you incarnate in this lifetime. You can have whatever it is you want. And I'm living proof of it. The women in my world are living proof of it. So I want a bigger platform. I have a book that's coming out, Unlocking the Quantum Woman. I'd love to get that into as many hands as possible so that she can go create her own life. And the bigger picture is that I leave some sort of legacy that I can help people that they're like, that woman shifted me and that helped me see something I couldn't see, even if it's the Lyft driver, even if it's the person that's dropping my groceries off. I want to imprint my teachings because I wish I had a me when I was going through my process. And I wish I understood what consciousness was and what healing was on a deeper level. I wouldn't have held on to my wounds for 30 decades in my victimhood. I would have been living a different life. But I don't regret it all. I'm here now and I had to go through it, grow through it to, to be now in this wisdom. So the bigger picture is my YouTube channel. We're working on that, putting out information. Right now I'm in an information state. I just want as many people to hear what I've been able to, I believe, successfully learn and embody in my life, and I want more people to feel this way.
That's super powerful. I'm curious if you have any words of wisdom or advice for the people listening that may not be where you're at in success, but would like to be. And I know we've talked a lot about that already with mindset and emotions. Is there anything outside of that that you would suggest?
Don't believe everything you're thinking. And when your nervous system starts telling you don't, find a way to calm it down because you need to have your mind and your body working together in your emotions. So when the fear comes up, just take the action. Just figure it out. There's nobody judging you out there except yourself. And yeah, there are going to be people that say something, but people said something about me. And if I listened to them, I would have not made, I'm at $1.4 million now. I mean, it's like ridiculous. If I listened to my own little voice in me that told me that I couldn't, I still wouldn't. So there are going to be people that are going to judge you. There's other people that say things about you. There's going to be, you're not going to know everything. But until you start taking some action and not listening to the thoughts that tell you you can't, you're not going to know what you really can create out there. You know, I didn't have any money. I had zero in the beginning of January 2020. Zero. But I'm gonna get emotional about it, but I just kept taking action. And I believed in myself because even when I didn't, I did. I'm like, I had my own back. I'm like, you can do this. And I just kept trusting that if other people could, I could. If she could make 1 million, I could. If they could do it, I could. And now I use that for myself for everything in my life. Look, Shamina, you did this. There's nothing else that's beyond you. You can create anything. So start getting this system to believe in yourself. Journal every day on it. Do the work because the only thing that's stopping you or standing in your way is yourself. And when you can realize that once you get out of your own way, everything is available for you, you're going to have such momentum in your life that you're like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I take this action sooner? Because I could be this further along. And then you start quantum leaping, and then you'll have massive success, and you'll look back and be like, did I just do that? Oh, yeah. And look at what else that I'm going to create. So just know that you create your own reality. We live in a limitless world. And and sometimes the thoughts, you don't even know are there. So hire a mentor. Hire people that can help you see within yourself and invest in yourself. Take programs, work on yourself. This is school. This is growth, and it's never ending. That would be my advice.
Yeah, I love that. You've given so many ideas and tips for our listeners. And I want to thank you for coming on and for trusting us to work with us over the last year, too. It's been really a pleasure because you take massive action. I think we've never seen anybody take faster action on ideas than you, and it never stops. Every week you're trying something new, and it shows. I think sometimes people don't realize the amount of grit and hard work and persistence and stick-with-it-ness that's required every day,
Every day.
to kind of get up and
Every day.
and every day there's a new obstacle and there's a new opportunity, So yeah, it's been really awesome opportunity to be with you.
Resilience is like the thing that I think I live by, and having you guys as mentors is like changed my life. And anybody who's listening, and I have to plug Kylie and Richard, but if you have an opportunity to work with them or be in their space or just anything, make sure you do it. You'll never regret it. They're two of the best people in this industry to work with. It's been my pleasure to have you as mentors.
Aw, well, we love you, and you're just a joy to work with. And it's like Richard said, you are one of the fastest action takers we've ever seen, and that makes everything we do worthwhile because we don't want to just talk into a void. We want to speak and teach and have somebody do something with it. And you've really brought a lot of meaning into my life doing that. So I appreciate you so much. And you plugged us, so we want to plug you. Where can people find you? How can they work with you? How do they get in the quantum field?
Okay, this is awesome. Yes, come join me. I've got a Facebook group called The Quantum Woman, and yes, it is for women, but men, don't worry. If you want to come learn from me, because I've got men in my space, I've got a YouTube channel. You can go check me out at Shamina Taylor on YouTube. And The Quantum Woman is just set like The Quantum Woman. Friend me on Facebook, Shamina Taylor. Find me on Instagram. We're putting out information on Instagram all the time. It's ShaminaTaylor at Shamina Taylor. And then where else I am, I'm on, yeah, that's it. And when you go to my Instagram, I've got a wealth meditation you can go download, and women do it every day, and money comes in. So get started right now and come join me.
That's great. Thanks so much for being here, Shamina, and go check out shaminataylor.com and find her on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to get the show notes, you can go for this show, you can go to consciousmarketer.com/podcast. We have the show notes and we have more information about Shamina. And thanks so much for joining us today. It's been another awesome podcast episode. Thanks for coming on, Shamina. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.